Sort of break it down like this.
Patrick, let's reset our question, and then we're going to give these nerds our answer.
This week's question is courtesy of Anthony D via Discord. What's your favorite comic book page turn? When do the writer and artist craft a singular moment of turning the page where that next panel just hits you? It's not necessarily the best issue of the series or the best story or even your favorite comic. It's just a really great moment delivered by the mechanical or digital turn of the page. And for fun, what is your least favorite? When did you flip the page and exclaim, this book? Terms were dictated to me as though this were not my podcast on the Discord that I was not allowed to pick Thunderbolts #1 as my favorite page turn. And that's fine. I get it. I'm up to the challenge, even though you're not the boss of me. My second selection is JLA #8, which was the start of a 2-part story where Connor Hawke joins the Justice League. It was written by Morrison with fill-in artist Oscar Jimenez, who I don't see around ever anymore, but he was a phenomenal artist in the 90s. He would go on to draw, he had a run on The Flash, He would go on to draw the second volume of Stormwatch before it became The Authority. Great artist.
Fantastic. Love it.
In this 2-part storyline, the Key, who is a very old Silver Age JLA villain, wakes up from a long coma, suddenly much more powerful than he was before. And what you learn is that his mind has had all this time to like expand and unlock, get it, the key, and different like facets of his mind. And so he shows up with like, I don't remember the exact number, but it's like, I've got 12 senses, and he's got all these extra powers that he's unlocked because he's learned how to tap into this. He has breached the JLA watchtower, incapacitated the JLA, and hooked them up to this machine. He's forcing them to live through alternate lives. The first chapter is called Elseworld, which tickled me. And so, like, Superman is living in this virtual world where he never left Krypton and ultimately became, Kal-El, the Green Lantern of Sector 2813 or whatever. And Batman grew old and married Catwoman, and he's fighting his very last battle against the Joker, and Tim Drake is the new Batman. And so all of these alternate lives, they're generating this energy that he is using to unlock this, a dimensional door that will give him the secrets of the universe, blah, 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 typical supervillain master plan. The thing is that Connor Hawke shows up at the Watchtower to get inaugurated or whatever. And nobody's there to greet him. And he's like, hello, what's going on? Batman, Wally, where is everybody? And he wanders around and he gets attacked by the Key's little robots. And so he spends the issue like hiding and fighting off the Key's robots and trying to come up with a plan to rescue the JLA. And Connor, he runs out of arrows. And he ends up in the JLA trophy room where he finds a case of his dad's old trick arrows. We're talking boomerang arrow, boxing glove arrow, all of the cheesy Silver Age hits. Connor didn't use any of that shit. He used arrows with points on them.
Yeah, he was just a ninja with arrows, basically.
Yeah, and he didn't have access to any of that stuff. And he finds this trophy case. He says, "Oh, Ollie," or "Oh, Dad," I forget. And then you turn the page, and it's this splash of Connor running into action, knocking the boxing glove arrow, and saying, "You're going to be the death of me." And that's how chapter 1 ends. And like that book gave me chills, and it proved how impressive Connor Hawke was as a superhero without powers. Like why he's worthy of being in the Justice League next to Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Absolutely.
And it was also this really great moment where, he gets to intersect with a part of his father's history. And like, it's such a great moment. And I love it so much. It's a really great page turn.
That's a great one.
Illustrated beautifully by Jimenez. My worst will forever and always be the last page of Wanted number 6. Mark Miller's main character spends the entire issue explaining, all this crap about his life and blah blah blah, and then you turn the page, and it is him making a face at the reader that says, "And this is my face when I'm you in the ass." And it's essentially Mark Miller saying, "What kind of idiot reads this shit?"
Right.
It's just a thesis about how Mark Miller hates his audience,
Yep.
and I hate it so much. Matt Baum.
The best comic book page turn that I could think of and it popped into my head instantly came in the very first issue of Brian K. Vaughan's Ex Machina. And one thing I love in a good comic is a perfect last page. That last page where you see it and you know, I have to pick up issue 2. No choice. I wish it was out now. This is freaking me out. And it is on the very last page. So I'm just going to condense the story. There's one superhero in the world. His name is the Great Machine. He is also the mayor of New York. And on the very last page of the first issue, you turn and you see that there is still one tower standing after September 11th because he saved the other tower, but couldn't save the first one. It is an incredible page turn. Like, absolutely amazing. Like, to this day, whenever I think of like the perfect last page, there it is. Brian K. Vaughan killed it. I love that last page. My worst page turn, also a final page. And it is a final page that is supposed to grab you and shake you and go, oh my God, I have to see what happens next. It did not. In fact, a lot of people went, I don't know about this. It was the final page of 2016's Captain America Steve Rogers #1, where we find out that Steve Rogers is secretly a Nazi in this universe now, where he looks right at the reader and says, Hail Hydra. What goes on from there? We get like a watered down, he's a Nazi, but he's not the worst Nazi. He's just a Nazi. You know, like they couldn't even commit to it and make him like really evil. They shouldn't have done it in the first place. But if you're going to, let's go full on. I mean, come on. It was just ridiculous.
It was pretty bad, that whole.
It was terrible.
That whole era.
He ended up fighting himself in the end. And oh God, it was just bad. It was a terrible page turn. So stupid.